morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Fellowship Board of Directors, I want to welcome everybody here today, on site and online. And whether this is your first time here or if you've joined us years ago, we're delighted to have you here, especially on a rainy day like this. The best way for newcomers to get more information about the Fellowship is to sign our virtual guest book, either via the QR code in your bulletin or at the welcome table in the fireside room. Now feel free to stick around for coffee and conversation after the service. Online folk, you too have an opportunity for conversation after the service. Just stay in the Zoom room. Now there's no special announcements to share today. Please be sure to check the weekly email for upcoming events and other ways to make new connections with this community. Thanks for joining us today.
These are words of the Buddha. Never does hatred cease by hating in return. Only through love can hatred come to an end. Victory breeds hatred. The conquered dwell in sorrow and resentment. They who give up all thought of victory or defeat may be calm and live happily at peace. Let us overcome violence by gentleness. Let us overcome evil by good. Let us overcome the miserly by liberality. Let us overcome the liar by truth. Come, let us gather in fellowship. Everyone, including those joining us from home, we welcome you to light a candle with us. And everyone, please join together in these words. We light our chalice in the spirit of peace, fierce and loving. We share a commitment to meet this moment of existential crisis together. Please rise in body and or spirit and join in singing Peace Like a River. No books needed.
How about now? Yeah. Yay! If we have anyone young or young at heart who would like to come forward for our story and join Clara, who's all alone here, please do.
There we go.
Woo! Don't tell them you're my kid.
We could too.
So, during World War II, which is what we talked about last week, right? We're talking a little bit more about that today. The world was a dangerous place. Cities were bombed and people were being hurt or taken away simply because of who they were. And families all over the world, especially in Europe, were doing everything they could to keep their children safe. Some of these children were called Blitz kids because they lived in London during something called Blitz, when bombs were dropped on the city almost every night. Some were called Kinder transport children. Kinder means children in German, and they were mostly Jewish children whose parents put them on trains and sent them to other countries, hoping they'd be safe from the Nazis. Some kids were called evacuees or refugees. Some people called them train children because they traveled to safety by train, sometimes for hours or even days. But no matter what they were called, they all had something in common. They were saying goodbye to everything they knew and going somewhere unfamiliar. So imagine this. You're 7 or 8 years old, and your parents tell you it's time to leave. Not because they want you to go, but because they love you too much to let you stay somewhere dangerous. So you get a small suitcase or a backpack. And some of these families were really poor, so they got a pillowcase and a string. And you get to pack a few things. So you want to see some of the things that might have been packed in that suitcase or pillowcase. Do you guys want to open it up and see what's inside? Yeah. So the first thing you might have gotten was a tag like this, and you actually would wear it. It had your name on it, where you were going, what train you were on, what station the train left from, and what time it was leaving. It had your address and how old you were. This was to make sure you didn't get lost in a sea of other kids. What else is in our bag, Clara and Summer? Oh, so this must be a young girl, and she's packed some clothes. Can I see? It's a dress. So you might have brought a dress. Yep, and a vest. Some shoes and a coat. Maybe some pajamas. What else is in there? It's an apple. So you were supposed to bring food for one day of traveling, and they said you could bring an apple or, what else is in there to eat? An orange. And again, some of these families were so poor, the children have said that they've never seen an orange before. So if you had enough room, you might want to bring a favorite stuffed animal. And if you could read, maybe even a book to pass the time. And then the one other thing that you had to carry with you was your gas mask. I didn't have one of those to show you guys today, but this is what it looked like, and it would have been in a box that you carried next to you. The one other thing you might have brought with you was a postcard. And it was addressed to you, or to your parents, and had a stamp on it, so that when you got to where you were going, you could write them a letter and tell them you had gotten there safely. And your parents would say, write to us when you get there, tell us you're safe, because you might be too young to remember your address, and phones were very rare, so that postcard was one of the most important things in your pocket. You got on the train with hundreds of other children. Some are laughing and some are crying. Some hold hands and stare out the window. You ride for a long time. You don't know where you're going, but you hope someone kind will be waiting for you when you get there. And when you finally do arrive, maybe at a farm or a stranger's house, maybe in a completely different country, someone would hand you a pencil and tell you to write your postcard. So you sit down and write, Dear Mom and Dad, I made it. I live in a house with a cat named Rupert and an apple tree outside my window. I miss you. I'm trying to be brave. And then you mail it, and that little postcard would travel back all across the land or the sea to someone who loves you more than anything. And when they read it, they would cry and smile all at once because you're safe, because you remembered them, and because love is still finding a way. So because this story is about things that are related to our Unitarian Universalist values, and that's why we're telling it today. Justice. We believe in justice even when it's hard. We believe in equity, making sure everyone has what they need. We believe in transformation, that love can change things. We believe in pluralism, that even people who are different from each other can take care of one another. We believe in interdependence, that we're all connected like threads in a big web. And we believe in generosity and sharing what we have to keep others safe, even when it's scary. This is a story about children who and families who were brave and kind, and it's about people, sometimes strangers, who showed up with open arms. So now you get a chance to imagine what you might write on one of those postcards if you were one of those kids. Or you could just write a postcard to someone you love. So if you want to come, anybody wants to come with me and Dennis and Joey today, we're going to go downstairs and make some postcards. Or if you'd like, we have some on the back table, and anyone can make one and join us in that activity. Right. Kelli? Yes.
So we're just going to sweetly sing, I've got peace like a river, as we sing our children out.
Where am I pig?
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. Each week when we gather, we give half of our non-pledge offering to organizations that support our values out in the world. This is our way of generosity, direct service generosity to organizations. We also do justice work in other ways here, but this is the way that we fund organizations that need our help. So this month, all through the month of August, we are giving our offering to Home Allies. This organization responds to the dire shortage of affordable housing in Ames. They assist people who live at 50% below the average median income of Story County and whose, this is important, whose life histories may make them unappealing as potential tenants to landlords. They follow the Housing First philosophy, providing stable long-term homes to people experiencing chronic or catastrophic life situations so they can focus on alleviating and overcoming their other challenges. Being housed is one of the first steps to being able to find your human potential and flourishing. The other half of the offering, of course, supports our programs here in the fellowship that make this a place of spiritual growth, love, and justice. So we're going to pass the baskets here in Fellowship Hall. If you're here on a cell phone or online, you can give at our website, uufames.org/give. And if you're visiting with us today, please know that your presence with us is gift enough. We will now give and receive this morning's offering. And when we gather, we take a few moments of silence to remember that our lives are connected one to another, that our joys are connected and our sorrows are connected, and we lift each other up when we need to be lifted, and we lift each other when we have something to lift with. I have a couple of things to share today. This week, the Unitarian Universalist Association made a long overdue statement on what is happening in Gaza. Here's what we said. There is no justification for the starvation of children, and I will add, adults or any human. Love is not silent in the face of genocide. There is no absolution for governmental or institutional complacency. We must take moral action to feed Gaza and stop the destruction of land, the poisoning of the soil, and the decimation of systems of care that support life in the region. Joining with religious voices across the globe, Unitarian Universalists call for the liberation of Palestine and an end to apartheid. We call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, delivery of massive humanitarian aid, and release of all captives, including those still held by Hamas, and an end to genocide around the world. And a personal note from our member, Joan White. Joan says, my dear friend of over 50 years, Richard Rosny, passed away Friday night after battling cancer for the third time. He was 80 years old. He was a member of this fellowship in the early 70s when he was on the faculty of the ISU music department as trombone instructor. Later in life, he obtained a law degree and practiced in Connecticut and Massachusetts. He is survived by his wife, a daughter, and a granddaughter. And he introduced Joan to Unitarianism, and aren't we glad that he did? We are each holding stories, large and small. Let's take a few moments of shared quiet, and into that quiet, lift the names of individuals or groups that you are thinking of today that you would bring into our shared blessing. Mike and Sophia. Immigrants. Trans folks.
Cindy.
All these threads of concern, of love, of joy, of sorrow, of hope are woven together among us, and they shine that light of love out into the world that we may hold it all. Let's sing together.
Comfort me.
the second part of the service that I started last week. Today we will learn more about Sachiko, who survived the bomb in Nagasaki. Those who survived are known as the hibakusha, or explosion-affected people, literally atomic people. Did any of you see the documentary this week on PBS about atomic people? It's really quite good. Today, there are some 95,000 hibakusha still living, and their average age is 86. So it is incumbent upon us to continue to tell the story of what happened. We started last week. This 2-week period are the bookends for the bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we talked last week about the contributions of the Ames process to the Manhattan Project and how we got there. And today we'll talk a little bit about one part of the aftermath. Here is Sachiko Yasui at age 5, the last time that her mother dressed her in the traditional Japanese style. She was age 6 when the bomb fell. Here's a picture of Nagasaki Harbor. This is taken around 1920, and it was an international city with this bustling harbor. There was a lot going on there. And here is a similar view after the bomb. Here's a street scene from 1940. Just a city, lots happening, people coming and going and doing what they do. And here is a similar scene after the bomb. The official narrative, the one that is still generally accepted, is that the bomb was necessary to stop the war and to save lives. At the time, estimates ranged from 30 to 50,000 American troops that might have died had the war continued. Some estimates were quite a bit higher, but that was kind of the accepted one. As it happened, as we learned last week, over 170,000 Japanese civilians died in the near aftermath of the bombing, and many, many thousands over the next few years. So we must ask, for the past and for the present and for the future, whose lives make a difference? Whose lives are we counting? So why am I so interested in Sachiko? Well, let me introduce to you my dear longtime friend and fellow Unitarian Universalist, Karen Barzilay Stelson, who tells Sachiko's story. Karen is an award-winning author of nonfiction books on war and peace themes. And she believes, I love this, she believes that young readers want to know the truth about their world and how to find resilience and courage in difficult times. Don't we all want that? To know the truth about the world and how other people have, and how can we find courage and resilience in difficult times. Karen says, I believe personal stories, large and small, have the power to make a difference. Stories that find their way into our hearts can give us strength and help us find peace in ourselves and in the world. You can learn a lot more about Karen on her website, karenstelson.com. You can see the spelling of her name there, and if you want to know more, you'll reach out to me. The Stelson family and ours have celebrated many a Passover and Hanukkah dinner together with a larger group of beloved friends, and it is a pure joy for me to bring her work to our fellowship. I'll just say 2 things. One is that this is the book, Sachiko, and it will, along with A Bowl Full of Peace, which we read last week, will live in our library. So we're putting these in the library. And I want to say a note about the recording. Karen and I spoke yesterday, and I was on gallery view. I had it on gallery view, but it recorded in speaker view. So my periodic vocalizations, oh yes, bring the picture back to me. Please know that this was unintentional. Here's my conversation with Karen Stelson.
Karen Stelson, it's so lovely to be with you today on August 9th of 2025. I welcome you here to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Ames. We are in our fellowship hall and people are seeing you up on our screen. I'll just say by way of introduction, Karen, you and I have known each other for at least a couple of decades. We met as congregants at First Universalist Church in Minneapolis. And I think I have known about this project and this love of your telling Sachiko's story, maybe from close to the beginning. I remember the Seder dinner when you began to spin out the story. And so to see it in print, in life, is quite exciting to me. So thank you for being with us today.
Pleasure, Kelly. My pleasure. And to be with your congregation, I know you're making such a mark in Ames with your generous heart.
Thank you. Would you like to start us with a blessing of the bowl with the ice on? We're actually meeting here on the 9th, on the day of the anniversary of the bombing. And would you maybe lead us through this commemoration just a bit?
Well, yes, I'd like to do that. And I'd like to start with something I think that will surprise everyone, because I'd like to show you grandmother's bowl. I know you read A Bowl Full of Peace. And at the end of our projects together, Sachiko gave me this as a present, as a memory of our work, her grandmother's bowl. Again, here it is, without a chip or a crack. And to me, this bowl is not only a gift and a memory, but it reminds me of my responsibility to tell Sachiko's story to all of us so that we get to know her suffering during the bombing as a little girl, her struggle to heal, to survive, and then to step out into the world to tell her story, which is a brave act of nonviolence.
Mm.
So I'd like to start out with putting ice in this bowl. And Kelly, I think you have yours too.
I do. And this is my grandmother's bowl.
My
This
goodness.
belonged to my grandmother. I wanted to use it for us today. So I have some ice in my bowl.
I am putting ice in this bowl. And the ice is a symbol of what the thirst that people experienced in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the horrible thirst, the burning around them and in them, that a chip of ice was a healing thing for them. I want to think of all those who suffered in that terrible, terrible war, World War II. This is the 80th anniversary of end of World War II. And to think about the cataclysmic events in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, when the United States dropped the first ever atomic bombs used in warfare on the civilians of those cities. Sachiko would say, this must never happen to you, to us, to all of us. I want us to think about how we can work together in solidarity for peace, for community, to help us find our way to peace, particularly in this time, to think about the two questions that Sachiko left me with, and all of us reading her book. What is peace? What kind of person should I be? Keep pursuing answers to these questions. May it be so.
May it be so. We have a practice here at the UU Fellowship of Ames that when we finished a ritual, we do these in a monthly ritual, we will take the ice outside and to return it to the ground. So we'll do that with this ice here as well.
I would do that here too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Karen, I have a couple of questions that I'd like to ask you. And the one I want to start with Sachiko's was inspired by Gandhi. I believe in the book you talk about her father telling her about Gandhi, the great Indian leader, and his calls for nonviolent change and how that worked. And then of course Dr. King was a student of Gandhi also, and a student of nonviolence. Help us understand, or maybe help let us know how Sachiko helped you understand the theory and practice of nonviolence.
I am still learning the process, the theory, the deep meaning of nonviolence because it is so deep. It takes such courage, such a wealth of inner energy to stay in that place of nonviolence in the presence of violence.
Mm.
I know that the congregation has read A Bowl Full of Peace, but we're really talking about this book here, which was my first effort to tell Sachiko's story. This is a book that Sachiko and I worked together on. I made 5 trips to Nagasaki to hear her story, to try to understand this powerful, important story, not for a Japanese audience, but for us, because we need to know what happened to Sachiko and others who survived, to keep that in mind so it must never happen again. And I think by learning about and meeting one person, not thousands, but one person's life, you can begin to understand so much. Sachiko's, I want to tell a little bit about Sachiko's father, who appears in A Bowl Full of Peace, but we do not know much about him in that picture book, except for one thing. In the immediate aftermath of the bombing, and Sachiko and her family are looking around, and there's horror. And there's Toshi, who has died by flying debris. He's 2 years old. Her father says, we have to leave. We need to, I hear there is a rescue train. And he says, follow me. Follow me forward.
Mm.
Look back. Follow me forward. And I think that is almost a message and a metaphor of we have to keep going forward. We have to keep looking for the promise and bring our courage with us. Sachiko's father was studying English at the time of the war, which was against the law in Japan. Anything
Mm.
He was also reading Gandhi. And Gandhi we think of Gandhi, we hold Gandhi here as our teacher of nonviolence and peace. But Gandhi is also in Japan, and Gandhi is an international model of nonviolence and peace. And her father was reading Gandhi. And at one point, when Gandhi was in 1948, when he was assassinated, Gandhi, her father had come home from the library having read about this. Sachiko was 9 years old at the time. And he said to Sachiko, one day you must read Gandhi.
Mm.
He has something to tell you that will save your life. How profound is that?
Mhm.
When Sachiko's father died, this is after her sister Misa had died, her brother, who two brothers had died from burns and severe radiation. It was after Sachiko's sister Misa had died from leukemia, which was beginning to mount 5, 10 years afterwards. It was after Sachiko herself had um, um, thyroid cancer,
Mhm.
had survived that. After her father died of stomach cancer, so many cancers. We have to remember this bomb and this radiation enters your cells. You live with that your whole life. When Sachiko's father died, and I want to just read this little bit, she remembered what her father said about Gandhi. And she goes to the International Cemetery in Nagasaki because Nagasaki was the pinhole in Japan very early on in the history where foreigners could enter. It was an international city when Japan was closed. It has a very different character than many places in Japan. And she goes to the cemetery and she begins to read Gandhi. Reading Gandhi, Sachiko's heart opened in a new way of thinking, a new way of being in the world. Despite the pain she had suffered from war, from the bullying she had experienced in school, the longing for her siblings, it was still possible to love the world and maybe change it. Father had been right. Gandhi could teach her what she would need to know for the rest of her life. The more Sachiko read of Gandhi, the more she realized she wanted to possess a mind and heart like his. But how? He had written, love is a skill. Forgiveness is a skill. The transformation of anger is a skill. All these can be learned. All these can be learned. She would try. Sachiko brought her journal each day and after her accounting job in the office, and she sat at the edge of the cemetery to read Gandhi and take notes. She read, nonviolence is not a garment to be put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our very being. Through her study of Gandhi, Sachiko had come to understand something important. How Gandhi had become Gandhi, how father had become father, and how she, Sachiko Yusui, might become the person she wished to be.
Mm.
To me, that says so much of to all of us and to your question about how Sachiko became the person she wanted to be over a lifetime. And I believe that this is a lifetime of work. We keep learning and relearning what that means to be a person of peace. How do we shift ourselves into that place? Almost, how do we grow into, not almost, but how do we grow into that place? How do we keep reminding ourselves of that place? This is what I learned from Gandhi and from Sachiko. When I learned that Gandhi was such a person of her guiding force, I knew I was going to have to read a lot of Gandhi for this research. And everything that Sachiko read, that I could read, I read in hopes that I could learn from her and how she was able to shift her heart into that direction.
I love that, Karen. That's just this sense of shifting our hearts, and especially in every context and in every age. But we feel it, I think, especially now in this context. And I'm so curious about what have we learned about peace in these 80 years? And for many of us feeling frequently now on the edge of despair because of what's happening in our country and in our world, that going back to these hard won lessons feels so important. I know that this work has changed your life, has enriched it immeasurably, and you have changed my life because of your interest in this. It made me interested to say, what can we say about it now? So I'm very grateful to you. And I think all of us here are in your debt. And I want to just reiterate that we have access to skill up, as they say nowadays. We can skill up in love and forgiveness and in the transfer of anger, and that the seat of nonviolence is in the heart. Dear one, you help to open our hearts, and may we continue to go forward and do so. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So good to see you and everyone. Thank you very much.
Here's Karen and Sachiko in 2017. Sachiko died in 2021 at the age of 83. And Karen asks, what happens when there are no more eyewitnesses, no more hibakusha to warn us of the horrors of nuclear war? We need stories like Sachiko's to help us remember. Let's sing now, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. The lyrics will come up here. It's also in your teal songbook. Please rise in body or spirit.
When our
Everyone is invited to share these words together as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We always end with a few moments of gratitude for all who helped make this morning possible. Our fellowship voices back again for the first time after a summer break, and a special thanks to Deb Klein, who stepped in at the last minute to direct. Thank you. Our pianist, Amber Anderson, tech team, Titus Klinge and Doug Haug, Dan Haug, facilitators, Amy Slagle and Karen Bates, board member, Jeff White, director of religious education, Dana Poss, and her art partner today, Dennis Dake. Thanks to all the greeters and coffee servers and treat bringers and cleanup crew. And thanks to all of you for being here either on site or online. It takes all of us to make this space so special. And so we go forth with Sachiko's words on our hearts. It is still possible to love the world and maybe to change it. Blessed be, and go in peace.